Xavier, how you doing? All right, I've got your composition up, but I want to address what you're asking here first. Okay, so you're thinking of putting him in a cage, and we saw that in one of our examples. So I'm going to jump over there real quick because I want to show you how that's done. It's actually a pretty cool technique. Um, let's go ahead and see where the heck are those final project examples. We'll just click that right open. I think it's the first one too, so that's good. All right, come on. There we go. Yes, this is it. So, all right. So how do you put something in a cage? It's really easy, actually. What you do is you can see that the bars in front of the creature that's in the cage are visible, right? But the bars behind it, it's covering up some of the bars, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to create a cage, okay, and then you're going to select out the background of the cage so that we can see through like this. We can see, presumably, let's say this just had a white background, okay, so we would see white through the bars. So what we would do first is select the cage itself or select and inverse the outer side. Okay, find a cage with a white background, it would make it very, very straightforward. At any rate, so you mask out the background completely. So then you can place your cage in an image with a background, and the background is seen through all of the bars, right? So the next thing you would do is take your creature and you would place it behind on a layer behind the cage. So it looks like the creature is behind the cage. The problem is that the creature is going to be covered with the front bars and the back bars of the cage. So it won't look like it's in the cage, right? It'll look like it's behind the cage. So what we want to do at that point is create a layer mask. And what you'll do is you'll allow the front bars to be visible, right? But the back bars, we will mask those. As you can see right here, here's a bar from behind the cage. Here's one in front. You can see it's visible all the way down, right? And then over here, the next one, that's behind the creature. So we can see it's visible up to where the creature starts. Then it's masked out, okay? Then it's visible again where the creature stops. And that is how you make a creature look like it's inside a cage. Okay, let's go back. Let's get rid of that. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. But anyways, let's go back to your post. And I think you had a couple of other questions. The bars. Okay, so that, yes, please let me know if you have questions. That's a cool technique. And it's advanced masking, so it really gives you some good practice too. So may I please have advice on how to do that correctly? Yes, of course. Also, I was thinking about putting something inside the raptor claw. I was thinking the same thing. But I'm going to tell you my idea, and you see what you think. Putting something in his hand, absolutely. A toy head, absolutely. And actually, we saw that in an example as well. So it's awesome to know you're looking at the examples. That's why they're there. But that other one example was that Terrible Toys Todd that had that other baby's head in his hand. And it was cool. So if you didn't see that one, go over to those examples and take a look. That's a Terrible Toys Todd that's up in the attic with a bunch of other boxes and toys around it. So take a look at that. It's pretty cool. All right. So, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Only what I was thinking is maybe since instead of putting something on his head, let's use what we have in the composition to our advantage, right? So what I'm referring to is the eyes of this creature. He's looking down here at something, right? So why don't we add that to the narrative? Let's take action here and use what we have to our advantage. So since one of the creatures is looking down, let's place something on the ground right here. And I was thinking about maybe something like one of those wind up, like a mouse that's got the key on the back of you, wind up mouse that kind of goes like this around. It's a toy, it kind of goes like this around the ground, which you won't wind it up. Something like that would be hilarious because he's looking down at it and he's getting ready to swoop down on it with his claw hand. I think that would be cool. Okay, so over here, this hand, let's get a hand in there. I think it just would be cool to have some crazy kind of hand in there. And I'm thinking like, okay, you got one claw hand, right? So can we have another hand maybe holding, let me see if I get in the camera, holding up his hand up like this, like he's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Just have a little interaction between the arms instead of having all this movement, depth, and this action over here and then nothing over here. You see what I'm saying? I think it might enhance things. The background to me is a little bit stark. I mean, I think there's it's tough to say though, because if you can find something that would maybe create a deeper conceptual relationship with the creature himself. Like I'm going to use that example of the one Terrible Toys Todd in the class examples. He's in the attic and there's a bunch of toy boxes around him, and it almost is telling the story like he morphed from these toys in the attic, right? So I'm wondering if you can draw some sort of connection between your background and the creature itself. Drop shadow looks great. All of your layers look fantastic. There's your shadow layer right there. That's good. And looks like you got rid of the production layer used to create that shadow. That's fantastic too. I think that all of the layer masks are intact, and that's fantastic. Good, showing good proficiency here. We're set up at 8x10 at 300 PPI. That's fantastic. So really, but now when you're moving it into your final composition, don't forget this is just Terrible Toys Todd. Don't put your byline on there. So let's just leave it at Terrible Toys Todd. I think this could use a color overlay based on this. I would draw some of the red out of the character. Draw this kind of creation, this kind of continuation between the red, maybe in this chest right button right here, and the red down here. It will create a really nice effect. For the viewer, it creates a visual engagement by allowing a visual relationship between the type and some of the colors of the creature. That is my only real recommendations, other than the one levels adjustment layer. Just did such a great job. It may be a little overdone. It may be just a little overdone as it's really bright right through here. But what this shows us is that you can clearly use adjustment layers on all of your layers to really bring out the tonal variations as well as the color values in each layer. So think about that. Think about adding more adjustment layers. And that is really all I have. It's a great setup so far. Really pleased with what we're seeing. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thanks, man.